Hello, 6th graders. So this week in art, what you will be doing is melding your research from last week with your plan for this week. So here's what you're gonna do. First, you're going to go to this template and watch this short video by the art team about remote learning tips and tricks. Then what you're gonna do is you're going to take a selfie. Now I'm gonna talk about what's required in your selfie in a couple moments, but this is on slide 2, this is where you're going to put your selfie. You must get your selfie approved before you move on with any line drawing. You have to get this approved before you move on with any line drawing. On slide 3, you're going to circle or list which materials you plan on using. On slide 4, you're going to pick which artist from last week. You're going to pick one that's going to serve as inspiration for the rest of your project. So this can be in terms of style, in terms of technique, and it doesn't need to be an exact copy, but it's just something to give you inspiration from for the rest of your project. What is required from you this week is slides 1 through 4. If you get to it and your selfie is approved by your teacher and you're ready to move on to the next step, then you can start doing your line sketch for the week. As you can see, you can insert it here on slide 5. On slides 6, 7, and 8, there will be a link attached to the video on how to do each of these transform methods. They will also be linked in the instructions, but you must have your selfie approved before you move on to this step. So when you take your selfie today, here's what you need to think about. A portrait is a piece of art that captures the likeness of someone. A portrait only includes the head and the shoulders. It does not include any other part of the body. So when you're taking your picture today, you must have one from the shoulders up. It must include your face. Now your portrait can be smiling, it can be serious or a different expression, but you must include a shot from the shoulders up and your whole face. Hello, 6th graders. If you are here, that means you are here for the digital version of the self-portrait project. So if you are on this demonstration today, that means you plan on using digital in your final example. If you do not plan on using digital, go check out the other 2 demonstrations on grid and graphite transfer. So what you'll need today is the app Art Studio, and it looks like this. If you can't find it, if you don't have it, you can download it in the student portal. So a couple quick review of some tools. We will have a more in-depth tutorial next week, but here's what you need for today. You need the pencil tool, which is located on the left bar. You can scroll through and find others. Here's the pencil, here's the eraser. To change the size of that tool, the bars on the bottom, you can slide to find the correct size. The colors are located on the right toolbar. You can scroll up and down or tap to customize. The arrows on the bottom right and left, you can reverse a step, as you can see there. And the little stack right here, this is the layer bar. So you'll also need your selfie for today. To put in your selfie, you're going to go File, Import, Insert as Layer. And then you're going to tap on your selfie and it'll upload. What you're now going to do, now my selfie is a little too small and I want it to be closer to the bottom of the bar. So what you're going to do is you're going to click to transform your layer. You're going to click Edit, Transform Layer, Move, Scale, and Rotate. Once you have it placed, ready to go, this is probably going to be the most important step I tell you all day. Go to the layer bar and add a layer. By working on this digital layer, you're able to delete your photo layer and your pen and tools aren't going to be processing a super pixelated image. Another fun trick is to lower the opacity so you can see your line work on top even clearer. So the way you do that is you go to layers, you make sure you're selected on your photo, and you can lower the opacity with the top bar here. That way you can see the line work that you're doing right on top, but it's a little bit clearer. Always make sure before you go back to make sure you're selected on layer 3 before you do any digital work. When working on your portrait, you want to go from big to small. So the biggest shapes in my portrait are my head, my hairline, and my shoulders. Once you get the main shapes down, you can start adding in details. Once you get your base face shape down, then you can start adding in the different body parts, the mouth, the nose, the eyes, and if you can see them, the ears. When it comes to drawing the eyes, we want to draw what we actually see, not what we think we see. When we look at the main shape of the eye, it looks like an oval. However, the eyeball is actually a sphere that sits within our skull, and the way that the skin folds around it to protect it is really important to consider the main shape of that eye. When we're looking at the iris, it's important to note that you usually don't see the top or bottom whites. The iris usually fills the whole eye. When you take a look at the eye, you'll see that the diagonal goes up and then back down towards the tear duct. As you can see with the lower lid, the lid curves out where the sphere kind of pops out and then back in towards the tear duct. On each layer, you can see that there's an eye right next to it. You can tap it to remove it just from sight. When you think you're done, what you'll want to do is check your work. For example, I noticed that my arm doesn't go off the page, I'm missing a fold in my shirt, and that little area by my hair needs some attention. So make sure you check before you think you're done.